Hello ladies and gentlemen, Top Hat Gaming Man here, and Christmas is finally over, which means we can all start thinking about more important things in the world, such as ourselves. Yeah! Today I have decided to talk about something in which probably a lot of us have in common, and that is our unified dislike for both sealed and graded games collectors. What dirty, filthy, undesirable scallywags. Yuck. So, just for a bit of fun, let's try and talk about them in detail. And when I say us talking about them in detail, what I actually mean is I will talk about it in detail and you will watch from behind your monitor, because YouTube, I suppose. So yes, sealed and graded collectors. Let's think about them within the mainstream media. I can think of two occasions where sealed collectors have had a spotlight put on them, and both of those times they have been placed within the villain role. Again, because the mainstream seems to think of them exactly what we think of them, that they're bloody scummy buggers. So yes, the first instance I can think of is the comic book guy in The Simpsons. I recall there being one episode, probably one of those Treehouse of Horror ones, where the comic book guy is actually a supervillain. And within that episode, I believe he's going around looking for like famous actors who played characters in Star Trek, and I believe he went and found someone who played Wonder Woman in the past, and what he decided to do was try and factory seal all of them. So factory seal the actors so he could add them to his collection. It's that kind of maniacal madness which I suppose puts us against those kind of people. You know, it's the kind of people who come up with crap like they invented the question mark, or the sort of people who accuse chestnuts of being lazy. That sort of thing, really. The other time I recall it occurring within the mainstream media would have been, let me think, I've kind of lost it now. Oh yes, Toy Story 2, of course. The main villain in Toy Story 2 is one of those bastard sealed collectors who we all hate. In that film, I believe he wanted to keep, I don't know bloody Toy Story characters because I'm 5 years old, but yes, basically the female version of Woody, so we call her Woodrella, for example. He wanted to keep Woodrella factory sealed in her box, and I believe the plot of the film was for Woody and Buzz to save her from being factory sealed and to actually let a child play with her instead. However, I could be completely wrong about this whole scenario, as I've not seen the film since its bloody release, but I believe something like that happened. So that's two examples of sealed collectors being portrayed as bastards. So let's think about it in real life a little bit, how sealed collecting can be a bit bastardy. The first example I can think of, obviously, as you can see around you, I love bloody games. So I own a lot of games, and there's still a lot of games out there that I want. Occasionally, resellers or just other collectors, they will come to me and they will offer to sell me certain games. Sometimes I get really excited because I see a lovely game I've not got which I want to play, and then I ask them how much it is, and they say to me, oh, actually I think you need to name a price because that copy is actually sealed, so it's going to be worth more than what it goes for on eBay. And then obviously I always give the same bloody reply, well, if it's sealed, it's bloody useless to me, isn't it? Because I'm not going to pay an inflated price for something where I'm just going to rip off all the packaging anyway, and then it's going to be worth the same amount as any other bloody copy. So, as soon as a game is sealed, well, if it remains sealed over a long period of time, it's probably going to remain sealed forever. Because the only sort of lunatics who will be willing to pay the prices wanted for them are the bloody idiots who want sealed games. And speaking of these sealed games, like, what sort of morons want them in the first place? The first example I can think of, which we can't blame them really, is obviously the people out there who have mental health issues. So sometimes they want these sealed games in order to basically try and help them with their problem. I suppose sometimes it feeds into their problems. But yes, most of the time, if someone's a sealed game, it's probably because they're a bit la-la, a bit goo-goo gaga. You know what I mean. You've got to be a bit of a nutcase to really want to keep a game sealed. Because, like I said, games are made to be played. The very moment you have a game sealed, and then you put it in one of those bloody graded boxes, which I've not even got onto yet, it becomes a commodity rather than something to be played with. And if it's a commodity, it's no more than a piece of art, really, what's worth a little bit of money, if you could even consider it a bit of art. So, if you're trying to invest in commodities, or if you're trying to invest in art, how about invest in bloody art instead? Wouldn't that make a lot more bloody sense? Like buy some nice expensive paintings to hang on your wall, rather than putting some game in a little stupid graded box like an idiot. And so yes, it's bad speculation at that. So yes, apart from people with mental health issues, that's obviously the other sort of person who tries to buy these graded and sealed games. Is the speculators, you know, those greedy bloody buggers who have to try and make money off everything. I remember a few years ago when I was buying the Wii U games I wanted for my collection, there was a large selection of nutters around on the local groups who were literally buying every Wii U game what came out and then keeping them factory sealed. Brand new games, getting them factory sealed, and then again sticking them in those bloody graded boxes. Because they were speculating that because the Wii U has been made in short supply in comparison to other Nintendo consoles, Wii U games are going to be worth money in the future. So they predict that the games will be worth money. Speaking of that, one of these here. New Super Luigi Bros. U. I got this around, I wouldn't say I got it on release, I probably got it about 6 months after, maybe a year after. Paid about £20 for it. These days, however, it's worth a bloody fortune because it's in short supply in comparison, where it's worth a fortune for a Wii U game. It's in short supply in comparison to other Mario titles. But the issue is, whilst it's worth more money, if you look online for a copy of New Super Luigi Bros. U, most of the copies out there for sale are still bloody sealed because you've got all those bastards who have bought them just to sell on with copies still remaining. So it's hard to get a copy of Luigi Bros. U at all for a good price because the bloody open ones are more common than the sealed ones. Stupid, isn't it? So yes, collecting new sealed games is just crazy because if you're keeping them sealed and they're new, there's a lot of other lunatics around at the same time as you, so it's not going to be like a SNES game was sealed where there'd be in limited supply forever. The Wii U games would be in what's the opposite of limited? Will be in large supply, sealed forever, because you've got so many lunatics out there all keeping their Wii U games sealed. So sealed Wii U games will never be worth anything substantial. The SNES ones, on the other hand, it kind of makes sense, doesn't it, why they would be worth something, because there's not going to be many idiots out there who would have kept Super Nintendo games sealed. I suppose if there are games that are still sealed, which there are, as we know, they would have ended up sealed by mistake. For example, maybe they never left the shop floor till about 20 years later. Or maybe one year someone got the same game twice for Christmas and forgot to bring the other one back. So the other one ended up in the back of a cupboard for bloody years and years. It's a bit different to literally keeping a game sealed. That is bloody weird, isn't it? You gotta say. So yes, sealed collectors. That's the reasons we can't really relate to them, because we look at them as either bloody mental or bloody greedy. Both extremely negative elements of humanity, I suppose, which, is that politically correct to say? Is mental health a negative aspect? Yes, I will say it's a negative aspect, because we can respect people with mental health issues. That doesn't mean we bloody want them though, does it? No, no, no. I wouldn't want mental health issues. I hope I've got no mental health issues.
Born in London in 86, a mustachio gent named Richard Parliament. He loves to wrestle, but he loves one more thing: handhelds round the world. He fights in his comments and he argues with fans. It's a problem no one understands. If there's two things he loves, it's getting handhelds round the world. Drinking fine wine, fighting fanboys, handhelds round the world.
Top Hat gaming man.